Okay, I just started this book and I'm intrigued. I have no context to the story, so I'm going in blind. It's about a woman named Olive with mommy issues, and she is sexually and romantically repressed for a 34-year-old living in New York City. It opens about her obsession with re-listening to everyday conversations she secretly records. When she listens back, she dissects every tone change and every interaction, thinking she can improve her social awkwardness. She also has a close relationship with her dog that teeters on inappropriate and overcompulsive. In order to find a boyfriend, she volunteers at a local food pantry, and she finally has her meet cute with Theo, a handsome surgeon with a cute gap between his bottom teeth, which Olive is obsessed with. As they start dating, you realize he's also a little weirdo. He collects forgotten items like used scrunchies and used water bottles, and he also seems to enjoy his job a little too much. Right now, I'm waiting for the foot to drop. This book keeps dropping hints of like vor, or just being obsessed with just being consumed, especially like in a romantic relationship. But both people get fixated on body parts. So it's their fixation on body parts get to a point where it gets like under your skin, but not in a threatening way. It's hard to explain once you read it. In part 2, we follow Olive on her trip back to her hometown to visit her mother and sisters. Olive and her family bond over dinner, where she casually mentions she has still been recording conversations. Everyone at the table goes silent, and Olive instantly feels othered. One sister does not support it, while the other sister is therapizing Olive on why she does it, while her mom eventually brushes it off as a small quirk. Later that night, the sisters meet up after their mother goes to bed. As they talk, you figure out as the reader that Olive has trauma that causes her to record. When she was a kid, her parents divorced, and her older sisters left the house for college, making her and her mom the only ones living at the house for the next few years. As a teenager, she kept a diary and hid it in her underwear drawer. Then one day, she finds that her diary has been read and her underwear has been used. Shocked, she confronts her mom. The mom brushes it off, making it seem like it was a harmless misunderstanding. She just wanted to be a cool mom that shares clothes with her daughter. Olive, not knowing what to do, accepts it and continues to ignore it even happening. But after the incident, she became more cautious and neurotic with her privacy, which led her to start recording her thoughts. Fast forward, she is back in the city with Theo, and they continue to date. Everything is going well until one evening, Olive is making an elaborate dinner for them, but that same night, he is over an hour late because of an emergency at the hospital. By the time he arrives, Olive is upset, which makes Theo upset. So they have their dinner in awkward tension. Then they argue. Then one of them slips that they love the other. Then they quickly make up and have sex. After the sex, Olive feels so close to Theo that she ends up telling him her recording secret. And when she tells him, he freaks out and leaves the apartment. Olive crashes out and starts crying hysterically in such a way you can see that she does not know how to process emotions in a healthy way. They both agree Olive can continue to record, but only if Theo knows about it. And she has to email him the recordings after every session. After that, their relationship goes pretty smoothly until Olive's obsession with his teeth crosses a boundary. One night in Olive's apartment, she presses her fingers in between the gap of his teeth, and then his body begins to tear down the middle. Theo is still alive and completely asleep. Olive somehow is able to climb inside him and zip herself back up. Inside, she feels instant calm and a kind of closeness that she's been craving from Leo since they started dating. Before he wakes up, Olive climbs out and realizes it wasn't a dream. After her mind settles from the experience, she puts 2 and 2 together and realizes that her mom used to do this to her. And after this gut punch, she decides to put more distance between her and her mother. This secret ritual becomes Olive's habit every other night. She finds ways to record the experience, and every time she does this, she convinces herself it's not breaking her promise to Theo. And all of her motives in their relationship are fueled by her wanting the closeness again. Now, in the last part of the book, Olive has never been happier. Her and Theo are doing well, and she feels safe and in control. Everything she ever wanted. Until her mother comes to New York City unannounced, putting a wrench in Olive and Theo's romantic weekend plans. This makes Olive irate and panicked, and she does not want her over-controlling mother anywhere near her or her relationship. Her mother is charming and manipulative to a point where it's hard for Olive to make clear boundaries with her. For the whole visit, she is emotionally stonewalling her mother, and Olive's anxiety of her mother's presence grows. Olive becomes more wary when her mom shifts her focus onto Theo. In a borderline flirtatious conversation, they exchange phone numbers. Theo does this out of politeness. As the reader, you get a sense that Olive's mother is not all there. She is totally the mother that would try to sleep with her daughter's boyfriend. Thankfully, the book never goes there, but you get the idea. After the visit, we meet Theo and Olive alone in his apartment, and they have another argument about Olive's recording habit. Theo is upset about Olive carrying the physical recorder, even though she wasn't recording. Olive swears she wasn't using it, but Theo is hesitant to believe it. The argument gets so heated that Olive has to confess about her climbing into Theo's skin. Not surprising, he doesn't believe her until she shows him firsthand. After the climb, Theo is on board, at least sexually. He is just as fascinated with this anomaly as she is. In another compromise, Olive can only do this only if Theo can climb inside of her. Olive hesitantly agrees, thus beginning the anticipation. She is terrified of Theo climbing inside, and he hangs this anticipation over her head for weeks. Life continues on, and Olive's anxiety is making her manic. As the reader, you see that Theo is just as emotionally repressed as she is. He knowingly teases her by not acknowledging their agreement for weeks. The torture is unbearable, and Olive calls him out on it. Theo presses her not to rush him, because he is still trying to figure out how to go about it. Eventually, when things have cooled down, Theo climbs inside of Olive for the first time. His access point is through her ear, and he climbs into her brain. And Olive is literally alone with her thoughts while her boyfriend is napping in her head. And during that whole time, she starts to panic, and it's building and building until finally, Leo is out. Olive is instantly relieved, but is so emotional when Theo tells her that he prefers her climbing inside of him instead. Olive is relieved, and Theo is totally on board with the climbing, but with another compromise. Olive has to agree to only do it once a week, and she has to ask Theo for permission first. Again, life is good. Olive is the happiest she has ever been, and her and Theo are the closest they have ever been. And her mother has been testing her boundaries. Everything has fallen into place. Until actually a really big thing happens. Theo and her mother have been secretly texting each other behind Olive's back, and they were planning on a surprise visit for her mom to surprise Olive. This puts Olive in the ultimate anxiety spiral. Theo knew of her mom's climbs, and since Olive didn't want to confront her mother about it, he didn't see the harm. And to make matters worse, Olive finds out her mother has weaseled her way into staying in Theo's apartment, with or without Olive. Her mother's reasoning? She wanted to give Olive space. Olive is frantic. She realizes that her mom just didn't want to climb inside her, but she wanted to climb inside Theo. Olive feels that she is cornered and can't escape, and in her mind, the only way out of this is for her to climb inside Theo in secret, so she can claim her spot and prevent her mom from entering. The book ends with Olive climbing inside Theo without his permission and decides to stay there indefinitely. Then the book ends. This book had me locked in on Olive's whole journey. You really felt her helplessness from her mom, and the last 50 or so pages had me on the edge of my seat. It was such an interesting exploration on the concept of consent and the intimacy of relationships and how dependent a person can be on them. I truly give this book a 4 out of 5. And thanks. Go read it.